What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew? This is Ballhawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, woo! Good morning, everybody. Greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host, once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live, morning show edition. And I got to say, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you probably at least have a raised eyebrow this morning. Yet again, another day has come to pass, and a few more injuries have popped up. I get it's training camp. I get this affects all NFL teams. But if you're a Lions fan, the fact that you're starting to see more and more guys get added to that walking wounded list, the MASH list, whatever you want to call it, hey, I think you're going to start taking note. Yesterday, we had a number of more players get added to that list, and man, is certain positions like the cornerback room are starting to get a little full and a little depleted. The linebacker room, on top of others, is also getting fairly depleted. You're also going to want to see some of these wide receivers have an opportunity to step on up. Hey, we're going to talk about all that and maybe a little bit more today. I'm not 100% sure. I know some of you guys normally on Tuesdays, Anthony from Lions Roar UK hops on around 7:30 our time. I haven't heard back from him yet. I've sent him the link, so if he is available, I'm sure he'll hop on, but I actually don't know if he'll be hopping on today. All right, let's get this thing going. So a couple real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 60 subs away from hitting 7,300, so if you could help out and hit that subscribe button, that would be great. Also, if you enjoy the content of the video or just the channel in general, please consider hitting that thumbs up or like button. As you probably know if you watch YouTube, it helps the channel out a ton. It helps the videos out a lot. We try to get every video between 200 to 300 thumbs up or likes. So if you can help out, go ahead and smash that like button. It's free of charge. Takes half second at a time. All right, last but not least, outside of being a YouTuber, a coach, and a scout, I am a realtor. So if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, you see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. Let's have a conversation, see what we can do to save you some money, make the process of buying property a whole lot easier, and see if we can make this a little less stressful for you. Also, if you want, go ahead and hit the, lionstalklive.com for all your Duke Crew gear, merchandise needs. Go ahead and, as the season's getting ready, if you want that new mug, shirt, sweatshirt, whatever it may be, go over there and you can get the discounts right now. Mark the prices down. All right, with all the formalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the first segment of the day, and that is going to be 5 headlines now. So let's get into it. All right, 5 headlines now roaring on in. Let's get into it. Lions, quote, dying for any wideout to step up. This is from Sports Illustrated, story by Vito Sirico. So, I think what we're getting at with this story, you've got a lot of guys that sound like they're pretty much mirror images of each other as far as the depth of the Detroit Lions. Yes, we all get Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's the real deal, the real McCoy. He's your number one. Jameson Williams, from everybody watching Lions training camp throughout the entire offseason, they've all said the same thing. This guy has put it into another gear. He's figured some things out. He's matured. He might just be the NFL breakout player of the year, at least for the offensive wide receiver position. With all that also being said, who's going to be the number 3? When we went over the depth chart yesterday, it was alluded to by me. There's going to be a multitude of guys in the running. We did predict yesterday that Antoine Green would not be on the Lions 53-man roster, and at least as of right now, that does appear to be the case. It is my full anticipation, though, he will be on the practice squad. I just don't see anybody picking him up and adding them to their team with his neck injuries and head injuries at this point. So my guess is he'll get through all the waiver protocols, return to the team on the practice squad. But with that also being said, you hear a lot of reports about, hey, Khalif Raymond, Darius Fountain, Isaiah Williams, among others like Davis, are all out there. They're competing, but the Lions really want somebody to step on up and emerge as the clear choice number 3 wide receiver. Could it be Donovan Peoples-Jones still emerges to make the 53-man roster, let alone the number 3 spot? It's possible, but all reporters, I guess you could even throw MCDC in that mix, said that he really has to show more consistency, and time is running out on Donovan Peoples-Jones. All right, sources: Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs injures hamstring at practice. ESPN story by Eric Woodyard. So we reported this last night. The Lions had yet even more injuries. Let's get into this. That Gibbs, anytime it's a hamstring injury, especially for a running back or a wide receiver, it's not ideal. Coming back from a hamstring injury myself about 8 weeks ago, I can tell you it took me about 4 weeks to really be able to start running again, and probably only now, maybe in the last week or week and a half, where I could get back to sprinting at full speed. All that being said, I'm 52. I'm not 22, so keep that in mind as well. Hopefully, it will be something that the Lions can address quickly, because anybody watching the show gets Gibbs is a rare, special player. You also get that in the recent weeks, including yesterday, the Lions were working him out more and more as wide receiver. So when we were Scooby-Dooing the 53-man roster yesterday, if you took notice, we did put that Gibbs would also be a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. I think it's going to happen this year. The hamstring injury hopefully is not a severe one. Hopefully he's back in a week or two, maybe less. But we do not at this time know the full extent of the hamstring injury. All right, Lions roster preview. Will Brian Branch shine in a bigger role? That's from Athlon Sports. You want some good news on the injury front for the Detroit Lions. Let's start with this. Brian Branch is back on the field. He's running around. He's making plays. In fact, we've got one queued up for you guys. So let's go and show it. It's only going to take a second or two, not like a long video by any stretch of the imagination. But let's go ahead and watch this play Brian Branch made yesterday at Lions camp. So let me rewind that, get it up on the screen. Hold on a second, man. I'm having some struggles here. Apologies. But all right, here we go. So Davis out in the flat. He takes it away and gets the interception, slaps it loose. And you can see from him running around, there is no issues with the ankle. He's moving free, clean. You don't have any protective gear on the ankle. Nothing appears to be wrapped up. So, hey, good news for the Detroit Lions on the injury front. Brian Branch is going to be out on the field. He is going to keep making plays for this team. And we've talked about it all off season. I think he's going to kick it into another gear. I think this guy is about ready to be all pro, all everything, all world NFL player. We talked about Lions having 5 guys on the 25 and under, the top 25 and under. I think you can expect Brian Branch on that list next year. He might even be in the NFL top 100 a year from now. I think he's going to have that kind of season. All right, Larkin Red Wings visit Goff Lions training camp. This is from the Hockey News story by Sam Stockton. You're seeing one thing, I would say, in recent years, more than at least I can readily remember, where all the Detroit teams are really supporting each other. They're coming to each other's games. You can see them get on the field, exchanging jerseys. There seems to be more camaraderie between the pro sports teams in Detroit, like I said earlier, than at any point I can really remember. Nice move by the Red Wings stopping by. Nice move by the Lions, embracing them, taking part with them. So, hey, if nothing else, it was a great photo opportunity. All right, Lions first/second round picks suffer injury. Severity is unknown. This is on top of Carlton Davis not at yesterday's practice. This is from Last Word Sports, story by David Latham. So, again, referring to something we reported yesterday on Lions Talk Live yesterday evening. Reports came out with the Lions late in the day practice, evening practice, that day. Rakestraw upset an ankle. Taron Arnold had an upper body injury. Some were reporting it was a shoulder injury. Others were just saying upper body. The extent with both of these are unknown at this time. My anticipation is we'll get an update later today. but it is a growing number of things. You see Sam Laporta missed yesterday's practice, and he's been fairly limited for about a week now. It sounds like it's also a hamstring injury. You got a Liam McNeil who's missed practice. Kevin Zettler who's missed some practice with a shoulder injury. So it is starting to mount up. All right, let's go ahead and get over to the next segment of the day, and that will be NFC North News and Notes. All right, NFC North News and Notes, nothing huge here, but let's get into it. Jordan Love and other veteran Packers starters not expected to play versus the Broncos. This is from WSAW over in Wisconsin. So I would say, hey, the Green Bay Packers, among all NFL teams, everybody handles the preseason now just a little bit different. MCDC, he wants guys to grind during the week, to get the games off, at least if you're the number ones or one of the higher expected players. So, hey, Jordan Love and a lot of his team did go out and play in the first preseason game. Sounds like that's not going to be the case this time around. We'll see what they do in the third one. I did think they had a fairly decent showing, though, in their first preseason outing. All right, Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy held out of practice with soreness in right knee after promising preseason debut. This is from the AP News. So McCarthy is being reported to have a lot of swelling and soreness. Did he do something to it? I mean, at this point, I don't really know. I haven't done a deep dive on it just because it's not Detroit Lions related. But we would say this, if you're J.J. McCarthy and you're the Minnesota Vikings, you're probably going to be pretty careful and cautious with it. You just don't want to have anything happen to your prized first-round rookie quarterback. All right, forget the numbers. Caleb Williams passed the eye test. Brad Biggs, 10 thoughts on the Chicago Bears preseason wins. This is from the Chicago Tribune. Longtime journalist over there at the Tribune. Let's see if you want to go ahead and see what Caleb Williams and his thoughts on the Bears are. Go ahead and check out that story and go from there. But I would say this, Caleb Williams against some vanilla defenses looks pretty good. After maybe, I'd say when he took out like the first 2 or 3 drives, after that point, there was like 5 minutes left in the first quarter, you could see him start, calming down a little bit. Some of the other Bears news and notes, I'll let you guys read the story and dive on in. So, all right, let's get to the next segment of the show, and that will be your main topic of the day. All right, so it's always the question when you're a coach, what do you do with your practices? Do you just leave them for review? Do you really get after each other? There's no right or wrong way, at least in my opinion. I've coached, this will be my 35th year, starting in about, whatever it is, 2 months. So I'm going to say this. I've had teams in multiple sports just really grind, go after it, the MCDC approach, and they've won. You've had injuries. You've also not had injuries. I've also gone real light at times with practices just to preserve players for games, and then people get hurt in the games. I don't really know if there's a clear answer to the problem, but I would say this. In football, it's a contact sport, especially when you have a team like the Detroit Lions that want to establish a certain mentality, want to have a certain physical nature, want to get after each other and force each other to improve. Yes, MCDC is keeping guys out, or at least the top guys out of preseason games, but that doesn't mean he holds back in practice. That doesn't mean they aren't grinding. But with that also being said, you are starting to see the walking wound in the MASH tent start getting filled over in Allen Park. So I'll ask you guys this, the Do Crew, what are your thoughts on this? So far, none of the quarterbacks have been hurt, and the running back room outside of Gibbs' hamstring have been fairly minimal. The wide receiver room outside of Green doesn't seem horribly affected. Tight end room, though, you're starting to see some injuries really pile up there. The cornerback position, same thing. A lot of people piling up injury-wise. The linebacker room has been eviscerated to the point where you're seeing almost every couple days a new linebacker added because so much of the depth is being busted up, hurt, matriculated on down. The primary guys seem fine so far, but you got Malcolm Rodriguez and every other guy out there that seems to be getting hurt and acquiring injuries. The defensive line, same with the offensive line. A lot of injuries starting to set up there. Some of that's in preseason games. Some of that's just through the workouts that they're doing with each other in practices. But what we can say is, where a few weeks ago we were looking at the LA Rams and saying, man, they're pretty busted up. We might have a real advantage opening night against them. Now the Rams are probably looking at the Detroit Lions and going, man, they're pretty busted up. We might have a big advantage over them. there was a strong portion of yesterday's practice where the only cornerbacks available were Dorsey and Vildor, and because everybody else was injured. We know Manuel Mosley's out. We know that Rakestraw had to leave yesterday. We know Carlton Davis had to leave, wasn't even there yesterday. And then and Terry and Arnold also had to leave yesterday. So let's get over to you guys, see what you guys have to say about this. Again, I do not know if Anthony or Lions Roar UK will be on today. So yeah, I'm going to play at least like he might be. And 15 minutes or so from now, he might hop on. I've just not had anything confirmed from him today. So he could be out actually just doing real life stuff at this point. All right, let's get over to you guys in the Duke Crew, see what you guys have to say on these topics, and I'm sure just a few more. JDC, good morning all. Good morning to you too. Moonscar, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point. I'm definitely starting to worry. You have to, man, because if they get too many more injuries from here, I have to start wondering if that depth, that would start getting pretty slim. All right, Clark, what up? What's up to all the Duke crazies? Question mark. Whatever DC has them doing this week, I take that out of the practice plan. We are getting beat up. Yes, we are getting beat up. So is it just football? Is it where what is this, week 3? I guess the start of week 3 of training camp. The bodies are starting to break down a little bit just from all the cumulative efforts, the grind. That's also possible too. Big Eddie, good morning all. Who all is hurt at this point? I did see Branch was back and making plays, so that's good news, right? Yes, it is good news on Brian Branch. As far as all the injuries, you probably heard me already talk about them all. You do have, for the most part, a lot of the injuries on the offensive and defensive lines have not been to the star players, so I guess that's also good news. All right, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. And good morning to you too, Matthew. And just for you, my friend, I'll throw you a little hex yes. All right, Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and the Duke Crew. Next man up and just do your job. Believe in the guy next to you. Woo, woo. And I agree with you, Gunny. That's what you got to do. You got to grind. I anticipate that, some of the stuff like Gibbs, Laporta, by the time the regular season's around, they should be fine. Outside of that, you're hoping that Rakestraw and Arnold, no big worries there. It would appear Brian Branch is okay. I guess the other one you can talk about is James Houston. If you didn't catch MCDC's presser yesterday, the experiment with him being the Sam backer has come to an end. They're just going to leave him as a defensive end. And what do you know? Yesterday's morning show, we had him listed as just the defensive end, emergency Sam. So that would hold water with that. Hey, every once in a while I get something right. See, Robert, I don't know if we should be worried or just very concerned. Maybe a little bit of both, my friend. Maybe a little bit of both. Greetings and salutations. Back at you, Robert. Just greetings and salutations. I think we are going to be fine. No huge reports, but a lot of minor injuries. Might want to dial things back the 2 weeks leading into the opener for sure. Yeah, and I think that's an outstanding point that if you're going to do the grinding, do it up until the Kansas City game. At that point, you've really got about 2-ish weeks left. To me, I'm letting the bodies heal, like you're alluding to at that point. Make everything more technical. It's not that you can't have some physical contact or anything, because you do want to keep the bodies used to that contact to where they become almost numb to it. But definitely, I'd start considering moving some things back a little bit, at least with 10 days or so, just so you can be as fresh as possible leading into the Rams game. Mo, somewhere in the dark, Lord, recesses of my mind, I hear the words, I find your lack of faith disturbing. Yes, very Darth Vader of you, Bo. Thank you for that. See, Matthew, better now than during the third preseason game or after the 15th regular season game. They just need to work these kinks out, get healthy, and get their bodies used. Yeah, used to the playing in the full contact. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. You got to get the body used to it. If you've never played football, that you may not be aware, but the body does grow up a tolerance to the physical nature. Doesn't mean it doesn't hurt or anything, but you do get more accustomed to it. So I get exactly what you're saying. And yes, if it was me, probably by 10 days before that Rams game, I'm still physical, but I'm really monitoring the amount of physical contact. I, again, want bodies to heal up, want to get them, as right and ready as possible for that opening night game. Stephanie, good morning, boys! Exclamation point. Any major new injuries from the last few days? Question mark. I'm hoping all of these are minor. It sounds like most of them are. There's no full corroboration or reports to confirm what's going on with some of the new ones from yesterday. So Gibbs, Arnold, Rakestraw. But so far, other than some of the depth players being lost for the year, because we have had a few of those, or at least IR for a while, all the starters seem to be minor in nature. See, Darcy Graves, salutations, everyone. Back at you. Bo, how does your house of pain compare to the rest of the league right now? To be fair, it seems like what the Lions are going through, so is the rest of the NFL. You've had a lot of guys being reported injured. Some guys, unfortunately, even lost for the year, and that's across the league, multiple teams. No one escapes it, it would appear. See, Phil, what up, Doe? What up to you, Doe? Phil, good morning to you, too. And what do you got here? Another new guitar. Man, Phil, you are cranking them out. Chris Mahogany, yes, he should be back, I think, today. There were reports that he would return to practice yesterday. I know he was there at the facilities, but I'm not 100% sure if he was out on the field. So probably have an update for you later today. Hey, Jake, good morning, all. Who is Doe? That is the big question, isn't it? Let's see, Robert, I believe the tree and towel of destiny is our only hope. Hey, you might be seeing the towel of destiny and the basketball of faith a little bit sooner in an upcoming episode. That could be a foreshadowing of a spoiler alert. See, Matthew, just hope Gibbs' hamstring is just a strain and not a tear. Also hoping Aleem was not rolled up on, and that's also a minor injury. Yeah, no firm word yet on either. The fact that he walked off on his own power, from the reports that were there, it doesn't sound like it was huge, but again, I don't really know, so I'd be speculating at best by saying anything. See, Phil, it's a female deer. There you go. Chris, wish in one hand. There you go. Have a wish in a hand. There you go. Trey, what's going on? All question mark. Anyone in the Duke crew play? Man, I can't wait for Friday to get here. Is that when it comes out? For some reason, I thought it was already out, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. So hopefully you enjoy it, man. I used to play it exponentially all the time with people. Even had a Madden league where we did drafts, trades, all that stuff. But it's been a few years since I've played it. All right, John, good morning, all. I'm just checking in. I have an appointment at the VA hospital today, so I won't be on here, but I'll be back tomorrow. Well, hopefully, John, you have a great appointment. Nothing big's going on. Hopefully, you just can kick back, relax, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day, my friend. Chris, I love all of our UFL acquisitions, but I'm kind of mad that we didn't get Breland Speaks or Frank Ghana. I guess we didn't need another linebacker, but Speaks, just a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of injuries in the linebacker room, as I alluded to earlier in the show. We keep signing guys every couple days to that spot. Thankfully, there are no reports of any of the starters, but you know what? Your depth, starts getting whittled away. It does affect everybody. Big Dan's good morning to Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Exclamation points. As long as Gibbs is not seriously hurt, we'll be fine. Sounds like the rest of the injuries were just weren't major. Let's hope so. We should be all right in time. Yeah, I would imagine. So if you go through the list, I'm going to guess Aleem McNeil is going to be okay. Maybe just needs a couple days off. Zettler, I know I mentioned it yesterday when I referred to the 53. I'm anticipating he'll be back next week. Arnold, Rakestraw, they seem minor in nature. Doesn't mean you can't miss time with that, especially with an ankle, because a cornerback spot, you got to go all over the place. Hopefully be back sooner versus later. Dennis, good morning. Dan of the Duke Group, back at you, Dennis. Hopefully it's a great one. Phil, good luck, John. I hope nothing serious. Agreed with that. Thoughts and prayers, all was well. See, Lions fan number one, good morning, all. Hook going to be able to play Saturday? I don't know yet. I would say the fact that we signed from yesterday would probably at least indicate to me that they're going to have him as ready as possible, and then maybe Hooker can be available. It just comes down to, I think, if Hooker's going to play Saturday, I believe he's got to be on the field tomorrow. Whether or not he passes the protocol in time, I don't know. Because if he comes back Thursday, man, you have 1 day of practice really before Saturday's game. If it's me, you might be better serving Hooker and everybody involved if you just wait to the following week. Chris, scale 1 to 10. What is from like 6 or 7? What is like from 6 to 7? I mean, from what I've seen of him and known of him, he's okay. I'd say, yeah, he's probably like a 5 or 6. Maybe he supersedes my expectations, but really, he's not going to have a ton of time to digest all the new material before they throw him out there Saturday. To me, he's just there so they don't have to play Nate Sutfield the entire game. And if something happens to him, you've got another option at quarterback. All right, Lions fan number 1. Hope all is well, Johnny boy, 100%. Phil, I doubt Hooker will play. I would agree with that. I'd say it's limited at best if he's out there. If he's on the practice field today, that would change everything. But, yeah, I'm questioning that he'll be able to go. See, Patrick Green, salutations all. No need to push the panic button just yet. If we get into the season and 4 games pass and a lot of our injured players are still not playing, then we can start to worry. Yeah, I would say you're right with that. I'm anticipating most of these guys will be good to go if nothing else happens by the time the regular season starts. Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. Coach, you were busy yesterday. Yes, I was, man. I don't even remember. It was like 4 or 5 videos, but stuff kept coming out. I was like, you know what? I got a little time. I'll go ahead and put it out there. Matthew, good luck, John. Prayers going your way, 100%. See, Bo, help me. Jake from State Farm, you're my only hope. There we go. Jake from, hopefully he can help us too. Chris, have there been a lot of other injuries in the NFC North? I haven't really paid attention to the other teams so much. I'm assuming based on, just normal trends, you have injuries. Whether or not there are as many as the Lions, that I can't tell you. See, Phil, our depth is so thin. Injuries are going to hurt badly. They are, man. But thankfully, you got 90 guys on the roster. You keep adding people to help replace people. I think you just get through the preseason games, and keep the core guys healthy. Chris, I think we'll have great depth. I think we have great depth that linebacker and corner possibly. It could be, man. I like the cornerback room. It is going to be a little tested from a depth standpoint, though. Linebackers, like I said, they keep bringing in new guys. Voltron, greetings, salutations, all. Let's get the team healthy and rested before the Rams game. I concur with that. Phil, doggone humans, league should shut, mandate robots, no injuries. Hey, you could be a lot of truth to that in the future, but not today. Chris, we'll be facing Stetson Bennett and Frank Gonda. There you go. Facing whoever they throw out there, man. As long as you get through it without any more injuries, I'd be okay with it. Patrick, Phil, I disagree. We are pretty good at depth. Our backups should be able to handle the Rams and their others' first 3 games. Maybe we might have to go that route. Hopefully we don't, but we're going to have some of those starters out there with potentially some depth players at the worst case scenario. Steve, good morning. The captain's reporting. Good to see you, Captain America. Phil, really, Patrick, ? The backups look pathetic against the Giants. Yeah, but it's preseason, man. You don't know what you're holding back and such. Plus, a lot of those backups out there were like the 3rd string, etc. So, I don't know, man. A lot of things can change in a hurry. Phil, Steve, all right. Chris, oh boy, boys. So, where are we thin? Just right now, you have injuries mounting, so you do have a little less depth across the board in different spots. So, Smo, good morning, all. Back at you. Patrick, Phil, that was very malign defense. Yeah, but against the Giants' first stringers, our D held them to only 14 points. That is also true. The Giants didn't really look all that impressive. Other than the second half, they were able to, I think, get their running game going. But again, we talked about it. You could see where a lot of the newer guys on the team for the Lions just weren't up to snuff, especially in the front 7. But go from there. Chris, top of the morning, sunshine. There you go. Phil, everywhere, both lines, backfield, quarterback, receiver. All right. Chris, we didn't cut Craig Reynolds, did we? No, we did not. Yeah, he's still on the team. Phil, what's a Mandela? There you go. Patrick, Chris, nope. Hope he's still here. He is still here. Chris, it looks like Gibbs and Laporta can double as wide receiver. And they will at times. They will. All right, Phil, Gibbs and Laporta are hurt and out. Yes, and they weren't going to play in the preseason games anyway. So, them being out right now is not that impactful. Michael D. Green, salutations, coach and Duke crew, ! Super Bowl or bust, one pride. Woo, woo. Good morning to you too, Michael. Hopefully having a great one. Chris, off. All right. Phil, both have hamstring injuries. They do. 4 weeks each. Don't know on that. Did they not stretch and hydrate? They do stretch, but they do functional stretching, especially at the collegiate or pro level. It's not like just standing around and regularly stretch. That's actually discouraged at this nowadays. All right, Phil, I have not heard yet. Laporta has not been practicing. No, he's been resting and healing up. Porta, yep. Patrick, Gibbs and Laporta's injuries aren't that bad. They walked off under their own power and look to be ready by the start of the regular season. Yes, correct. Phil McNeil is out. He did miss yesterday. Correct. Chris, how bad, Patrick? We don't know yet. Phil, that's good. First time I've heard that reported. Aleem, how long? He was out yesterday. See, Chris, yes. All right. Phil, hamstring. All right. All season you can play, but not 100%. Yeah, it depends on the type of hamstring injury. So really, we'd be speculating at best right now what's going on with him. See, JDC, Magic 8 Ball says Lions Super Bowl, question mark. Hex, yes, I'll go with that. Patrick, Chris, I meant the aren't that bad. Wow, that's my bad. Spelling got that. Yeah, it happens, man. Spell check and everything else gets you. There you go. Yeah, laughing out loud, Patrick. All right, Broski, depending on the severity, even a strained hamstring can keep someone out for a month or longer. That's really no rehab and rest. And if you return early, the issue will linger throughout the season. So here's what I can say about the hamstrings. The recovery process have come a long way. Even at my ancient age, like there are new products out there. Like when I blew out my hamstring, whatever it was, about almost 2 months ago now, I got back to walking and even light jogging within a week, thanks to some boots you can put on that help recover or help with the recovery process. So if I have that, I got to imagine pro sports teams have a lot better stuff than what even I have access to. So like I said, I got back within a few weeks to running, sprinting at full speed, 5 weeks or so. And that's me at my age, not, some 20-some-year-old guy running around with a lot faster healing process. So I'm going to assume if they're not major hamstring injuries, in 3 weeks, they're probably going to be pretty good to go, but you never know. All right, see, Trumps, don't be worried about the injuries. They're all millionaires. They're still getting paid, while if it was me or you, we would be, yeah, but, that's also how they make their living. They put their bodies on the line and even risk, physical impairment for the rest of their life. So they are getting paid, but they have worked their way up there to earn the right to get paid. Remember, they had to go through all the 7th grade, 6th grade, middle school stuff, high school stuff, and keep evolving enough to make it up to that level. So you can say, yes, they're millionaires, but also understand they put in the grind to get to that spot. All right, Phil, does MCD push too hard in camp? That's the big question. I don't personally think so, but, anybody who's been around football or boxing or MMA, injuries are going to happen in contact sports. The Lions are not, salvaged from that. They're going to go through that as well. Hookadoo, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. One Pride, 100% back at you. Don, no worries. Are all minor scraps? I would think so. Chris, Epsom salt stretching. Maybe that'll help for sure. Phil, a pulled hamstring is not a bruise. No, it's not. No, it's not. It can be significant. I just think they've got enough time, youth, and access to things to help speed up the healing and recovery process. Phil, all these players will be fine. Week 1, it's football. It is football. See, Chris, good, 100%. Trumps, doesn't matter who we put on the field. Football is 8% coaching. I'll go with that. Phil, Lions have a great medical staff. They do, and that's one thing we are fairly blessed with in Detroit with the Lions is the medical staff that we have and employ seems to do a pretty good job helping guys recover and quickly. Chris, I really want a rag now to buy a pair of combat boots, steel-toed, steel-footed combat boots. Don't need any props. No, he actually wears a steel plant in his shoe that with the permanent turf toe. So he wears a protective steel toe as it is. They've talked about Taylor Decker doing the same with his recovery since they removed one of the bones from his toe to try to help with his flexibility, his recovery process. As of right now, I'm told he has turned that down, wearing the steel implant, but he might in the future. Broski, I didn't realize that Laporta had already been out with a hamstring. With Gibbs and Laporta sidelined to week 1, possibly longer, Monty and Wright will have to step up. Yeah, I think they'll both be back by the Rams game. I mean, who knows? I could be totally wrong, but I would anticipate they'll both be back by then. All right, Willard, Danny Boy needs to tone it down a little bit. It's a long season. Hey, this is pretty consistent with what he's done the prior seasons. But if I'm him, I would start taking notice. A lot of these guys are starting to get beat up. That's why maybe after this week, the rest of training camp, I'm toning it down significantly to let the bodies heal up and get them ready for the regular season. Yepper says, Chris, Don, folks don't pay attention to Broski Bear. We are just fine. Laporta played with one knee cap last year. That's also true. He played through it. So right now, what we can say with someone like Laporta, when the games don't matter, he's resting up. When the games are here, he's good to go. Willard, fire the strength and conditioning coach. I blame him. It's all their fault. It could be some truth to that. Phil, I'm concerned the coach is waiting for anyone to step up and take the number 3 receiver. Nobody has stood out. There's been some good storylines from training camp in regards to number 3 receiver. And I do wonder as well, could it be somebody gets cut by another team the Lions look to acquire? It's speculation at my point, but I do think there's some validity that they could be looking to do that. Chris, let's go, Coach Dan. Reported 100%. I'm here for you, my friend, and let's get it going. Richard, has anyone observed Isaiah Williams getting quarterback reps? I have not. It's totally speculation on my 53-man roster that he would be the emergency quarterback, but if you're not going to carry a third, I mean, it's either him or Jack Fox, right? Unless somebody else on the team that we don't know about, or at least I don't know about, has got significant quarterback playing time in their careers over the years. See, Paul, woo! 100%, my friend. Good morning to you, too. JDC, one Duke crew, yell on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Good morning to you, too. Dennis Snow, Trump's improvise, adapt, overcome, 100%. I agree with that. Hey, life's going to throw you curveballs. Sometimes you just got to make the best of it. Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust. Good to see you, Donkey Kong. It's been a minute, man. Good to see you in the chat. Dennis, woo, there you go. Hatman, boy, I'm only going to know about 1/3 of the players this year. Hey, you can't tell one guy from the next without a program. Make sure you have your program when you're watching the games. Donkey Kong, Bears are not good, he says. Yes, correct. Patrick, in 1991, Brett Pearman had a severely pulled hammy on a Friday. Patrick left and filled on crutches, but came back that Sunday and played the whole game. Yeah, it's possible, especially if you do a lot of the wrapping preparations, and it also probably helps the type of receiver you are. If you're just going to be like a Jameson Williams downfield threat every play, and not that that's what Jameson Williams is at this point, versus a St. Brown with shorter intermediate routes, in and outs, you can get through it. So I think you're spot on with that, Patrick. And man, talk about a callback. That's a great mind you got there. All right, Anthony, good morning, Duke crew, brothers and sisters. 100%. Good to see you, my friend. Chris, we need the updated 53-man roster, Coach Dan. Hey, go back to yesterday morning show. You'll see it. Let's see. Motown Mitch, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke crew. Lions rule, Bears drool. I agree with this. See, Don, not one eyebrow raised, not worried at all. I'll go with that. Donnie says minor scraps. All right, scrapes. I'll go with that. Phil, both rookies carted off the field. I'm not sure about that. So I'm not sure who was carted off yesterday. Nobody I can think of, at least. See, Standards, I feel the lack of padded practices is making the players soft in this day and age. There's probably some truth to it, versus how it used to be versus now. But, hey, it is what it is. The NFL Players Association wanted that, and they got it. All right, Chris, danger, high voltage. We'll go with that. Don, no rookie was carted off the field. They walked off. Yeah, as far as I know, everybody walked off on their own accord yesterday. See, Anthony, do you think we should go after Riddick, offer first 1 year, prove it? That might not be a bad idea. So we'll see what they end up doing. Dennis, feels like we're watching MASH. There's probably a lot of correlation there. Trumps, if we were playing in the Super Bowl, how many of them guys would be on the bench? I think about all of them. So, yeah, you're spot on with that, Trumps. If it was a playoff game, meaningful game, maybe even the regular season opener, how many guys would be ready to go? Probably in a heartbeat, a lot of them. See, Pat, hey, Coach, sucks a lot of injuries. Yeah, it is that time of the year, though, man, where the injuries start piling up. Like I said, you get through this week's practice. So really, today, tomorrow, because Thursday you're not doing jack, it's a travel day. Friday you're arriving, you're getting there. Saturday it's a preseason game. after that, I think they start dialing it down a little bit just to help the bodies recover. Buddy, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Hookadoo, good morning, Anthony, bro. There you go. Anthony, good morning, Hookadoo. And thanks for all you do for the channel, Anthony. See, Phil, that's good. Heard a report they were both carted off. I mean, not that I'm aware of. Maybe there's something I'm not privy to, though. See, Chris, Anthony, Vin Diesel, could be. Pat, good morning, Dan. Woo! Woo! Oh, yeah. We'll go with all of the above. Chris, laughing out loud. Anthony, laughing at Chris. There you go. Broski, McNeil being injured is bad news. Exclamation point. With Reader still out and not likely to be ready for week 1, the Lions will have to lean on Martin and Levi to start at defensive tackle. Not much depth behind them. Yeah, I think Levi is going to be okay, and I think there is a chance that DJ could play week 1. We'll have to see, though. Rightly? All right, Chris. Don, shake my head. Lions fans never stop exaggerating. We have a few injuries like all other 32 teams. Most are minor. Correct. I would go with that. See, Matthew, strength and conditioning don't have anything to do with hamstrings. I tore mine in high school, and they were freak injuries. Probably have more to do with the dehydration and not paying attention. Yeah, with the correlation, that I can't speak on. Wait and see. Donkey Kong says 17-0 for the Detroit Lions. I'd be down with that 100%. I'm going to hold you to it there, Donkey. Sanders 2032. Let's hit that like button. We can do that for the coach. Thank you for that. Yes, if you guys got a brief second of time, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I surely would be thankful. Phil, fade that music in and out. We'll take that music in and out. Okay. Anthony, agreed, Mr. Burr. See, Don, Ali McNeil is a precaution injury to if game 1 was this week, 90% of them would play. I would agree with that. See, Trump's Sanders, it's the say they are feeding them mixed in with some woke horse hockey. Okay, horse hockey. I haven't heard that in a minute. See, Chris, more salt, lemon juice in bodies. Yeah, I tried to just drink more vinegar myself. Just drink apple cider vinegar. Hey, keeps the dehydration away. See, Derek, good morning, coach and crew. Do you think From will be up to speed enough to play on Saturday? Question mark. I'm going to need a lot of suds if I have to watch Dudfield again. Do I think he'll be out there on the field? I do. How much of the playbook he's going to digest? I mean, he's got today, he's got tomorrow, maybe a walkthrough Thursday if he's lucky. He's going to have to rise to the opportunity. He might have to go Steamin' Willie Beeman and go off script and just, hey, improvise every play. See, Chris, Mr. Green is the drawing room by Colonel Mustard. Okay, lead pipe. Okay, we'll go with that, Chris, and thank you. Anthony, I'd definitely be concerned if we went to Chicago with Sweat on the other side. Okay, yeah, Sweat is a good player, man. Dwayne, what's up on McNeil's injury? No official word that I've heard, at least, just that he was out yesterday. Could it be precautionary in nature? It could be. I'm just reporting that he was not out there yesterday. See, Trump's counting every bruise as an injury. I've worked with broken bones. Yeah, and right now all I can do is say, hey, this guy was out. This guy was reported as injured. I do not know the extent on a lot of these. David, good morning, all. Feel free to skin some of the Bears comments if they start to take over in chat. Yeah, I'll skip them for sure. I've mentioned that in the last week or so. If we get too heavy on that, we're going to move on from that. See, Don, 4 weeks. Coach Dan, you're older than Gibbs. Kid is in top shape. No worries. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with that. If I can get back there, as a 50-some-year-old guy in 4 weeks, I got to imagine, somebody who's in top physical shape, great medical training and recovery services at their disposal, going to be okay in a lot less time than that. Paul, what the heck, bro? Did you just say you're 52? Yes, 52 years old. Yes. Phil, Dan is 52, question mark. Didn't know you're so old. Yes, I am. I still don't use a walker, though. So, hey, that's good news, man. Hey, man, my mom's 88 years old, still lives on her own, mows her own lawn, shovels her own driveway. She's a workhorse, man, and she's proud of it. Chris, Gibby doesn't need any practice. There you go. There could be a level of truth to that with the nature of his position. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Gibbs. See, Broski, Phil, I understand why you're feeling something doesn't feel right about the Lions this season. You might not want to admit it, but you agree with some of Broski's analysis of the Lions. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape this year, especially with the defensive side of the ball. Pat, do TK85 make the practice squad, coach? Oh, yeah. I think it's a strong possibility that he does for sure. He's so familiar with this coaching staff, the systems. He's like a constant standby. You need him. He's a minute man. He's always ready to go. Don, it's football. The words of Coach Dan Campbell are on the Hard Knocks. After your first day of camp, you won't be 100% healthy ever again until the offseason. Yeah, I would agree with that 100% because just the nature of the sport, the way they want to play, the physical nature of the Lions want to be, I think there's a ton of truth to that there, Don. See, Steve, hurt my shoulder to see both Rake and TA go down almost at the same time. Yeah, I know. So Mike Kipp Jr. is there this week, or Hutch Jr., I should say. He's out there, and he gave me a lot of reports why he was there. The fact that both of them went down within plays of each other, it's unfortunate, but hopefully they're good to go in short time. JDC, the truth, Don, 100%. Chris, Dan is ancient. Gibby is fresh out of the box. That is true, man. I am ancient. Let's see, Broski, 88 is Caden Davis. He won't make the team. He's had a pretty good he's had a pretty good camp to where he's actually gotten reps with the first team. If you noticed, though, yesterday, Broski, I did not have him making the team. I think he'll make the practice squad, but he's got some potential. Don, y'all sitting up here agreeing with the Broski Bear. Do you think Bears chat agrees with Lions fan chat? Hex, no. I'll go with that. Chris, cool cross team promotion. Yeah, Dick Corpse. There we go. Phil, Dan is like Dick Clark, well preserved. The power of Mountain Dew, my friend. Power of Mountain Dew. See, Chris, no, not Rakestraw. Yeah, an ankle. I'm not overly concerned with it, especially since he walked off. It was something severe, like even a high ankle sprain. I don't think he'd be walking off on his own power so much. I'd say, Derek, I hear Schussler is available. Yeah, Juju, we should reach out. I'm not comfortable with the lack of quality depth at wide receiver. I think the bad thing with Juju is, okay, his first 2 years in the league, everybody was really hyped on the guy. But since then, he's been almost non-existent. And that's just obviously my opinion. But I think everybody remembers those first 2 years. There's a reason why every team keeps moving off him. So I don't know. Maybe they bring him in. Maybe they don't. Maybe they bring in somebody else. Chris Zettler, no. Yeah, I think he'll be fine, in another week or so. Chris, what the heck? Yeah, he's been out for about a week now, Chris. See, Trump, don't believe everything you hear on these injuries and only half of what you see. I agree with that. Take it with a grain of salt. Wait and see what's really happening. It could be overreaction. It could just be headlines, for national media trying to fill up pages or whatever. You never really can know. See, Don, brother, it's football. It will take a disaster to keep them off the field week one. I would agree with that. Most of these guys, the way they're wired, their internal components and mechanisms, their personalities, yeah, they're going to want to be on that football field unless they just are absolutely told they can't. See, Dennis, water, dang. Yeah, so bring in the water boy. Chris Zettler even play a down yet? Yeah, he played a few the week with the New York Football Giants. I think it was the second day of cooperative training camp exercises with both teams that he got injured on the shoulder. Don Zettler, fine, minor shoulder injury precaution. Yeah, and especially with him being 34, a vet, he doesn't need as many reps to get up to game speed. So let him, go ahead and heal up. Chris, Chicago looking tough. No, I think the NFC North will end up being maybe not the top division in all of football, but it could be. It's going to be in that conversation. Don, Chicago looking tough, question mark. Played 1 quarter of preseason football. Man, y'all have me cracking up 100% with that. Dimitri, what do you got? Good morning, Dan, Lions fan. Woo! Good morning. Oh, yeah. Good morning to you too, my friend. Broski, Chris Moon, you're 34 years old, and in the NFL, the mounting injuries affect you more and more. Zettler is no different. The way last season ended for him, not sure he's fully recovered. We'll have to wait and see on that, 100%. Sanders, truth that trumps. All right, Don, listen to the rival team's mascot if you want. Phil, I can see a scenario where the Lions are third in the North. Packers and Bears are looking better than us. We'll see, man. I think we're going to be pretty good, though. Chris, linebacker, Bowl plan signed too. He did. Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust. I agree with that. Chris, no, but Packers and Bears have improved from last year. I would say all the teams have improved last year. That's just my opinion, until proven otherwise, I guess. See, Steve, they have to practice the way that they did last season. Get in the injuries now, then in the season. Yeah, get rid of the injuries now so you're good for the season. Bo, I like the bowl plan, man, 100%. Let's see, Phil, Don, Phil, question, Packers, Bears look better, question mark. Did you see Detroit starting offense or defensive play yet? That's also true. Broski, Phil, your realistic outlook reminds me of me. I often get razzed by Bears fans for my objective take. Way to not drink the Kool-Aid. Hey, I like the Kool-Aid. Chris, James Houston, 4 is linebacker, defensive end. Yeah, I think James Houston will be a defensive end primarily for us. I've got him as the primary backup to Hutch. We will see, though. Question mark says, Chris, I see Don, 1 preseason game, and fans hollering who looks better. Yeah, also remember when we were 4-0 in the preseason years ago, everybody was thinking Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, talking about how great the team was. Then we went 0-16. Phil, been a Lions fan for many years, learned totem, okay. Chris, Clark Griswold, yes, 100%. Clark Griswold is in the chat. Phil, learned to temper my enthusiasm. Hey, I got you there. See, Walt, how many unfortunate, everyone getting hurt at the same time. Hope they mend fast. Yeah, I think they'll heal up pretty quickly. See, Chris, face orange TV, shape red, smiling. I'm not really sure what this is, okay? See, Broski, Chris Mason, typically last-minute position change at last-ditch effort by a team for a player who's on the fence to make the team. I would disagree with that, Broski. Houston's been a defensive end since he got here. I get the coaching staff is trying to get him to expand into a linebacker role, but that just really hasn't been his forte for whatever reasons. See, Walt, good morning, Coach of the new crew. Woo! Good morning to you, too, Walt. Don, calm down, y'all. Geez, it's preseason, guys. Getting dinged up in football. Got dog. Yes, it happens in football. Phil, I'm not using capital letters, Dan. Don, why are you yelling? Okay. Dennis laughing. Don, Phil, I put your name in the last post. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Walt, hit the like button for Dan and the Duke crew. Woo! Yes, if you got a free second, hit that like button and subscribe button. Bo, thumbing up. Chris, finger red number 1. Okay. Don, overreaction, over injuries, preseason, minor injuries, shake my head. Chris, Broski Bear, thanks. JDC, I ain't scared about the injuries. Nothing I can do about it anyways. Yeah, it's part of the football. You got to move on. Fall forward. Gary, good morning all. Grip for life. I'm sure they are being precautionary with them. What's up with the Gibbs, though? It sounds like, there's no official word yet, Gary. You have to wait and see. It is said to be a hamstring injury. Jason, injuries are par for the course. Imagine Goff goes out and Hooker is sidelined with a concussion. Yikes. Yeah, that would not be good at all. Let's see. Gary, you practice like you play. You got to go up and game speed. Yeah, get to game speed. I 1,000% agree with you, Gary, on that. Practice like you play. Derek, we want out and got only the quarterback that play worse than Sutfield. Saturday is going to be a show. It will be, but you know what? It's preseason, so let's be thankful for that. Broski, Chris Mason, anytime. Don, if Gibbs or Aleem injuries were really bad, trust, I believe Adam Sheff would have breaking news. There's probably a level of truth to that, 100%. Kim, any info on the new acquisitions? Can they contribute or just fill roles for practice? I'm guessing it's the latter, just fill roles and practice. Dennis, right, Don Burr. Miles Margaret, John, best of luck. Hope all is well. Simplify. 100%, John. Hopefully you have a great day at the VA. Broski, if Hooker misses more preseason games action, it's going to stunt his growth yet another year. Might already be at the point of no return for Hooker isn't a good signing either. I would disagree with that, man. As far as Hooker, most rookies, remember Jordan Love, his first couple years didn't look great. And he's just, look at Kurt Warner. First several years didn't look great. What is going to slow him down? Wait and see. See, Don, Coach Dan Campbell presser this morning will ease all the panic. No worries. Precaution, smart move in letting guys heal. Yeah, let them get right before you put them back out there. See, Derek, from 27 completions, 210 yards, 1 TD, 3 INTs at Giants. Okay. Dennis, everything is going to be all right. I would concur. Don, Hook is fine, people. Just like Coach Dan Campbell said, him being older is a plus because of his maturity and learning curve. That's also true. And also, it's something like with Warren Moon or Kurt Warner, since I mentioned him earlier, there have been a lot of guys that came into the league older than them and did just fine. Even became Hall of Famers. See, Bo from could be a squeaky clean pickup. Shades of Ford could be. See, Gary, greetings, salutations, Coach of Duku. Could it be These guys want to be on this team so bad they are hitting and tackling just a little bit beyond what they are capable of. I think there's a whole lot of truth to that because of the competitive nature of this team. You have so much talent that guys want to be on the 53. They want to remain here with the Detroit Lions. Gary, I think you're spot on. J-Mo, what do you got? Iron sharpens iron, folks. MCDC knows what he's doing. I agree with that. I'm big time on that, J-Mo. Lion King. Let's see, Derek, is it Chris and Phil show? We probably need to monitor that a little bit. Steve, what do you got? Seeing our 2 rookies go down made me sick at practice yesterday. Yeah, hopefully they're okay. Dr. Troy, how much of this is precautionary? That's the big question right there. I would say there's probably a level of that, Dr. D. Matthew, does this mean Stephen Gilmore will get some time on the field? Probably. You'll probably see him out there. Don, Dr. D, 85%. I'll go with that. Dr. Detroit, I agree. Don, I think fans are overreacting. Ridiculous. I guy broke his finger. We are done. I see what you're saying there, Don. Don, a finger. Yes. Fingernail. All right. Well, fingernail it is. Let's see. Dr. Detroit, I am for sure. We drafted for depth, so we better be deep. We are deep, man. We are. Fans need to chill. I agree with that. See, a lot of stuff is luck at this point. There's a whole lot of truth to that. Patrick, the players also have stationary therapy, which includes oxygen saturation. Also, remember, Gibbs is good, but he's not the only running back. Montgomery is no slouch. No, we've got some good ones back there. So if he needs a later workload, I think you're spot on with the other guys. See, Don, 2 different backs. They are. Chris, 170 watching. Yeah, we've looks like through all platforms we're a little over 500. So about 170 on YouTube, though. See, Patrick Donber, yes, that's true, but everyone is wringing their hands and forget that Monty got 1,000 yards last year. Yeah, Monty's no joke, man, and he's been having a very good preseason. Let's see, the Chuck E. Cheese Morning Dew crew, woo, 100% back at you, Chuck E. Cheese. Don, true. Detroit, we should not be panicking unless Ragnow, Sewell, and Goff go down. Yeah, if those guys go down, that would be different. Broski, Patrick, admit it, Monty runs like he has a piano on his back. You need Gibbs to take you to the next level. Man, I would disagree, man. Remember that run he had against the Chargers last year, like 78 yards or whatever? He outran a lot of defenders on that one. See, Patrick Bearski laughing out loud now you're just mad because he left the Bears and came to a real team laughing out loud. Ooh, shots are being fired. JK, a.k.a. pre-injuries. There you go. Broski, I respect Monty, but I need a running back to play with playmaking ability, not a 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Monty is a dime a dozen. No reason to give him a contract. All right, well, fair enough. Well, he did score some game winners against you last year, so there is that too, I suppose. All right, Amy, good morning. Dan, the Duke crew. Woo! Good morning, Amy. Hopefully having a great one. Don, but Swift is worth a $24 million. That would be the counter to that, broski. If you're giving Monty shots, a guy that's only available 60% of the time, maybe 50% of the time, I mean, you did give him a paycheck. See, Hetman, broski, and yet you brag about always injured Swift, who is a fraud afraid of taking hits. Correct. Patrick Broski Bear, as I said, he had 1,000 yards last year, and that was more than he ever had with the Bears. Plus, he had to come to Detroit to start winning. Oh, good points. See, Miles, good morning. Amy Spry, there you go. Pat, you got you, Coach Dan, thumbing up. Woo, woo. Oh, yeah, and thank you for that. Dr. Detroit Swift is great for 3 games. 3 games is about right before he gets hurt. See, Don, y'all better stop listening to Broski Bear. Do you think he wants anything good for the Lions? He's a Bears fan. This is also true. Broski, hey, man, I know we're getting this Swift. He's always injured stuff. He played 16 games last year and 14 the year before. Hey, in Detroit, he was always injured. All right, Dr. Detroit, Dan born in 72. I still have a year on you, though. Hey, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm a product of 1972. Patrick, my mom will be 101 next month. Congrats, man. That's pretty outstanding. Amy, morning, back at you, 301. Dan, do you think Sudfield will get marching orders? No, I think he's probably here this week. After that, that's where the debate begins. Broski, Hatman, do you know who missed games, though? Davenport, Houston, Levi. Yeah, this is true. Well, Levi, I don't think he really missed games last year. He didn't get as many snaps. I don't know if he missed games. I'll have to check on that. Miles Marker, wow, Patrick. There you go, Patrick. Yes, I've been blessed to have her so long. Congrats on that, man. Don, Did Ted Jenkins take Nate Davis miss games? This is also true. Hatman Broski thought you were talking about running backs, but good deflection. Okay, Bo, you have a good one, gents, to rely on the Patrick prayers to your mother. Okay, good genes. Boy, what am I doing here? All right, Phil Mountain Dew, Fountain of Youth. I concur and I support that choice. See, Hetman Bears are 5 deep at running back: Swift, Herbert, Rashawn Johnson, Homer, and Wheeler. Lions have 2 legit running backs. One is slower than molasses in February. I would also say, hey, Craig Reynolds is pretty decent, and Sion Vaki, man, you need to watch some video on him. He's pretty decent. Phil, the opening day starting roster will not be the same roster in the end. There's probably a lot of truth. Don Herbert, cut candidate. Rashawn trade bait. Swift 3 teams in the last 3 years. That's also true. If Swift is that great, why does everybody keep letting him go? Homer, special teams player, and only Wheeler, undrafted free agent. Not a lock that 5 deep running backs. Okay. Phil, other than secondary, where have the Lions greatly improved? I would say defensive line as well, and offensive line depth. Those would be my thoughts. I'd say, Phil, don't get me wrong, love our team. Chicago plays in a ghetto stadium and have no coaching. Okay, shots being fired. See, JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. Agreed. See, Bo, air traffic control crew is a significant upgrade. Huge effect on the entire defense. Okay. Phil, let's see, Broski, Phil, I can argue the secondary hasn't improved. Davis and Robertson are extremely average, and you have 2 rookies. Branch is the only pub and list, and both rookies. Branch is not on the pub list. He's actually out on the field playing. So just so you know, I actually showed a video of him playing today. All right, Bo, happy trails, y'all. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow. Phil, don't Don, I see you everywhere in everyone's chats. Don't be so angry and confrontational, okay? Dennis, Dan, we need to have a border on the show. Need to have a there we go. Don, Phil, having guys like Branch, Gibbs, Laporta, Hutchinson, Aleem going into years 2 to 3 isn't an improvement? Question mark. You only improve by new faces, okay? Elizabeth, good morning, all. Good morning to you too. Hopefully, you're a great one. Broski, Phil, that's my point though. I don't believe the Lions have improved this offseason. Davenport is starting for you. That's unacceptable. All right, I'll go with that. Phil, yes, border on the Lions Talk Live. Dream come true. I'll see what I can do. Iceman, I think the Lions coaches are working the hell out of them. Yes, they want them to improve. All right, Phil, we'll see, Mr. Bear. Dennis, hex yes, Phil. Don, Phil, tell your kids that you have not a grown man to ever met. I rep my team everywhere. Unlike you, it seems like you're a fly-by-the-night type, okay? Don, until Ben is heard, Ben is head coach in Chicago. I ain't worried about the Bears, so I'll go with that. Broski, Phil, it's a do-or-die season for Eberflus. Yes, I would agree. Phil, sorry, man, I'm on vacation and have time to chat. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Enjoy the vacation. Phil, looking forward to seeing Mahogany play. Yeah, me too, man. See, Chuck E. Cheese, hit that like. Phil, with Gibbs hampered, Monty will get 2,000 yards. There could be a lot of truth to that. Iceman, bye-bye, Super Bowl. Go with that. Have a great day, Iceman. Phil, will Houston make the team? I think he will. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. It's been over an hour. If there's some breaking news today, I'll get to you as fast as possible. Otherwise, if you would be so kind, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, go with all that, and we'll see you guys all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.